won some very notable awards.
Well, Verbena is an annual bedding plant for the sunny garden or the partly sunny garden, but most Verbenas are kind of humdrum. They've got pale colored flowers. They are teeny weeny flowers. They lack vigor and performance. Well, here comes Lanai Twister.
Wow.
Because this year, or in 2014 actually, they won multiple awards in Europe as best in the class for the most exceptional new annual bedding plant of its kind, multiple awards. So you want to pick these up because this is going to perform. You will quickly get a 6 to 8 foot border that lasts 5 months of blooming, or 4 large containers like this size this year from this 8-piece collection, and you're going to know why it won the best in its class last year in 2014 in Europe.
And you're getting 8 potted plants, red, amethyst, pink, and purple.
All bicolor.
All of them. And so for those of you getting these at home,
they light up the venue.
Oh, they completely do. Look at this.
Yeah. Hey, look at that. That Lanai Twister red. All right, these guys will bloom 5 months solid. There's nothing teeny weeny about the flowers. And as a container plant, you can put them together. Here we have them with some regal geraniums.
Oh, that looks pretty.
Stand alone like we saw earlier.
They look like fireworks going off.
They have little miniature bouquets. They light up their venue. You can put them in the garden beds and do an 8-foot border. Put them into containers with annuals or perennials. When you have a flower that's that colorful, that doesn't need to be cleaned, it's self-cleaning, it doesn't need to be deadheaded, it's drought tolerant, it is humidity resistant, you don't have the foliage going yucky and with mildew.
No.
It's heat, it loves the heat. In the middle of summer, you don't have to go water them. This is your plant. This will bloom for 5 months solid, starts earlier than most any Lanai, any Verbena I know. This starts in late spring, all the way to frost, 5 months of color. You never need to touch them once you plant, about 12 inches tall.
I'm looking at these, and I have to say that for some, because we're getting into spring and with wedding season, those would make the most beautiful boutonnieres for a wedding. They would be gorgeous.
That's a great idea, because
or to put together into smaller bouquets, because they already look like a mini bouquets.
Okay, they do, and you know, and the color doesn't fade. You can put these in hot sun, and you can cut little bouquets all the time, Jackie.
You could make a little boutonniere for a gentleman.
Yep.
How absolutely stunning and unique would this be? Because this is a tropical annual. How beautiful. Or a little nosegay for a little flower girl to be able to carry. So this is gorgeous.
You get 8 plants. You get 8 plants. I got them out front here.
So we have 2 in each pot. Here's what we got.
2 each. You get 2 each of 4 different bicolor varieties.
We go from that to pow.
That's why they won best in their class. Pow. Yeah, for the best new annual, most exceptional of their kind. So 2 of these will fill in easily this container in just a very short period of time. I'm going to say maybe 6 weeks, 8 weeks. It'll bloom to the last thing in your yard, because this blooms till a heavy frost.
So anybody who's impatient and you want instant, gorgeous flowers, this is where you go. And these are the only quantities of the entire year. You want performance, and remember, you still have your guarantee.
And vigor.
And your growing guide. So what kind of sun, what do we need to do, watering?
Right. Pick a really hot spot in your yard that you want to see some 12-inch tall plants bloom for about 5 solid months, that you don't want to worry about droughts, you don't have humidity or disease hitting the foliage. They love that heat. Full sun to part sun, blooms for 5 solid months, bicolor that pulls you in from a long distance. But that's what this, or in a container,
the deer
a
and the
hanging
rabbits,
basket even.
And the deer and the rabbits don't like them. The butterflies and the hummingbirds do. So you know that hot spot, as you were saying, in the garden, the place that's so hot, scorching that things are not growing.
Yep.
This is where you put them. Instant color. Absolutely beautiful. Over 500 ordered. It's the only quantities of our entire season. When these are gone, they are not back again until next year. Yep. 5 months of nonstop bloomers. We're going to show you these colors again, because you're going to get this entire collection of.
Who could ask for anything more? But I want to tell you what, you can, because these grow in just about any kind of container. A hanging basket, a standalone container. They have a nice little arching character. They're heavy branching, and they have thick branches that don't flop. So these really hold up the long time period that you need for 5 months. Bicolors that are really well lit. There's nothing boring or pale about these colors, Jackie. And they pull you in the color Lanai Twister. You get the idea.
Wow.
Little miniature like mop head hydrangea flowers there.
And the purple.
As an annual bedding plant, if you space these about 18 inches apart, it'll fill in an 8-foot border with these plants about 18 inches wide the very first season and bloom for 5 months.
I just have to say, these are absolutely gorgeous. And when you're looking for an annual, instead of your traditional annuals, you want something that's been award-winning, that is so unique, that is going to be constantly wanting to impress you, that's what you get, and we're busy. And for those of you getting it, it's the only quantities of this entire season. M46394. Welcome in Shirley in Pennsylvania. Hi, Shirley. I'm Jackie, and this is Kevin Wallin. Welcome into our Spring Garden Fever event. How are you?
Pretty good.
Good.
Hey, how you doing?
So
What do you think?
did you get these?
Yes, I did.
Oh, what did you think about them?
Well, it's something different
Yes.
that I just never even saw these. I have a lot of flowers, but I didn't never see these. And that purple one is outstanding.
See, and
They are
that's what
outstanding.
Roberta
Yeah, right.
stands for. Hard to find,
Right.
unique, but easy to grow. They go out and search the world for these so that we
Right.
find something that is different in our yard than what our neighbors have. So you're going to have something that really is going to stand out.
That purple won the 2014 Flora Holland Award as the best new annual of its kind last year, so you picked a winner.
Did you say I can plant them 18 inches apart?
Yes, you get 8 plants, spaced them about 18 inches apart, and they will fill in very rapidly an 8-foot border. You'll have this 5 months of flowers this year. This is going to bloom from late spring all the way until the heavy frost, and you can put them in your beds and let them go to town, or put some in containers and mix them with your other annuals or perennials or
Yeah.
hanging baskets. It's really versatile.
If you have space in between areas that you need to fill in as well, this would be another great idea. Instead of using traditional annuals, this would be pretty to add a color to maybe
This
some,
just has 2
some
plants.
boring areas in the yard.
This
Where do you
has-
plan
yep.
to put them?
Okay.
Oh, good. Well,
Good.
thank you, Shirley.
Thank you.
Bye-bye, Shirley.
Bye.
$31.12, only quantities of the entire growing season, and winning the awards, winning an opportunity to have the status of just something beautiful in your
Right.
yard.
Now that's got 2. You get 2 each of 4 varieties. That had 2 in a pot, and they quickly fill in. That 20-inch container.
And that's paired together with
yeah,
other
and that's
flowers.
with the geranium. But they're really not boring. The most verbenas are a humdrum. They have pale colored flowers. They don't show up long.
These
they
are
don't last
showy.
long. They're showy. They don't fade in the sun.
This
they
looks
don't
like
need-
an artist went out and painted half of every single one of those flower tips.
It is really interesting
Very
because you can see
artistic.
on the inside how the darker color
How
really contrasts
interesting.
with the white. That's why it's vibrant from a long distance. Most verbenas don't have that. That's why I like this. I think that's why it won multiple awards in Europe, because it is very unique. I don't know how the breeders did this, but they did a heck of a job.
Those of us with OCD, they're very symmetrical. It makes me very happy.
Yeah, I know.
The color, I mean, because they look like little mini bouquets.
Yep, it's a
and
great idea.
absolutely
Look at that.
gorgeous. So those of you who want to get them, over 1,700 ordered, remember you're going to get 8 of these. But if you want to really fill in all the other areas in your yard with a different annual than what everybody else has, this is showmanship. This is something that your neighbors are not going to have. Yes.
You're going to have a hard time finding these for a couple years. You kind of beat the punch on it. And
Well, you
Oh, yeah.
always do.
Yep,
You always
that's what we
do.
try to do.
And when these sell out, they are gone. It
For a
is
year, yep.
M46394. See, Kevin gets us started with the show. That's what it is. And then,
here comes the good looking.
oh, you're funny. You're good looking. Love you.